Good morning. What's up? I hope you are doing fabulous today. I'm really excited to kind of just be able to pop on before my crazy busy day gets going. And I wanted to really pop on for a couple of things. So I wanted to congratulate, there's about 9 women that are actively doing the 28-day planking challenge. So I just want to give those ladies a shout out, right? We've got V, we've got Tia, we've got Hannah, we've got Stephanie, we've got Yolanda and Bryn, and gosh, I have a whole list. Clara, like there's so many women that I just want to like honor and remind you that I am so proud of you and to keep it up, keep it going. I know today's plank challenge, I encouraged you all to get 2 separate planks in. So if you haven't planked yet today, just go ahead and pop down right now while you're watching this video and just plank it out, even if it's just 20 seconds. It doesn't matter where you start or where you begin. All that matters is at the end of the month, you're gonna look back and say, dang, I did something, I set a goal, I told myself I was going to do it, and dang it, I did it. And then you're going to feel very proud. Good morning, Dina. What's up, gorgeous? So today's main topic that I want to talk about is protein, right? I have lots of clients, and this last 2 weeks, we've really been focusing in on nutrition and food planning and prepping and healthy meals. And on one of our coaching calls, you know, we started talking about macros and how it's healthy to follow macros and track your food, but it doesn't have to be long term, right? We don't have to track calories and food and everything that we put in our mouths. We don't have to keep so restrictive when it comes to macros. But it was fascinating, right? We all talked about it, and all the women were like, yeah, I'll try it, right? I'll give me my macros and I'll track my food for a week and see. And the reason why we brought this up is because most women are not eating enough when it comes to losing weight. That's typically when I suggest, hey, let's just see what all you're eating. Right? A lot of women come to me and you know, they maybe turn in their first couple of weeks of food log journals, and I'm like, girl, how are you even surviving? Like, this is starving yourself. Like, you're eating 1,000 calories. Like, oh my gosh. And when it comes to losing weight and gaining lean muscle, we actually want the opposite. And it's not your fault, don't get me wrong. I mean, mainstream media and like the fitness and health industry media, right? Mainstream media, magazines, radio, podcast, everything is telling you that you need to be on less calories, that you need to be eating less carbs, less sugar, less, get on this crazy diets, blah, blah, blah. And you guys all know how I feel about diets, and we're not going to go into that today. But I really cannot stress how much we eat is important, right? Our bodies are like a machine. And every couple of hours, we need to be filling the machine. Like, what happens if you have a gorgeous fire pit going outside and it's fall and you have your hot cocoa? If you don't keep filling the fire, guess what? Yeah, the fire goes out, right? I mean, come on. But anyways, all right. So today we're talking about protein specifically because we were talking about macros. And most women, once I give them their macros, they're like, how am I supposed to even eat all that meat, right? That protein. And so many women think that when they hear protein, they just think meat. And maybe if you're a vegetarian, you're like, I can't even get that much meat in, right? So today I'm going to kind of give you some education, plus, of course, some short tips that you can do if you are counting calories or your macros, or if you're clients of mine and you're like, how can I get all of that protein in? So here we go, but I just want to quickly give Mirtha a shout out. Good morning to you from Taiwan. It's probably not morning time for you there. She says, I gain weight easily due to hormones. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing. When our hormones are off balance, we do gain weight. However, I have Hashimoto's, and I have a hyperactive thyroid. And I will say that screws up hormones all day long, right? Stress screws up hormones. Food can screw up all kinds of things. So when it comes to gaining weight because of hormones, I just want to like shed the light and tell you that you can have a sexy, gorgeous goddess body year round and still have hormone issues. Okay, like it's not ideal because that's me, but hey, I make it work and I get in the gym, I eat clean, I stress less, I get sleep, and I drink lots and lots of water. Okay, but okay, getting into enough protein. So getting enough protein on a daily basis is essential for overall health, right? We think of protein as actually a large category of molecules. So just kind of think of protein as molecules. They give structure and support our cells, right? Our immune function, our movement, our chemical reactions, and hormones. Okay, so they're all made up of tiny little building blocks, these molecules. Okay, so think science here. So building molecules, they're all made up of tiny little building blocks called amino acids. Now, 9 of these are considered essential. We need amino acids. Okay, and 9 of them are essential, meaning that your body needs them and cannot make them on their own. This is why we then add stuff to our diet, right? This is why food is really fuel for our bodies. So how much protein do you need to consume every single day? Well, it really does depend on lots and lots of factors, okay? Body size, activity levels, age, maybe if you're pregnant, that's different. I always ask my clients, I'm like, I need your age, height, and weight. I already know what activity levels they're on because I've already written their workouts. So as long as they're doing what I'm giving them, I can then give them their macros accordingly to their activity level. Okay, so I kind of know my clients obviously a little bit more in depth, so it's really easy for me to do the math and give them their macros. Now, some people need more protein than others, that's for sure, right? It's very important though that everyone get optimal amounts of protein for them, like for you guys in, and we're talking high, like rich foods, right? Protein rich foods. So protein is essential for your health, but it's also the most filling macronutrient. And if we're talking macros and I'm like too all the way out there for you and you're like, what the hell is a macro? Macros are just simply proteins, carbs, and fats. Micro, meaning little, that's the vitamins, the minerals, those types of things. Okay, so we're talking macros, proteins, carbs, and fats. Specifically today, we're talking about protein. So it is one of the best macronutrients. Obviously, it's protein, and it's you want to consume enough protein because protein makes us feel satisfied, which supports a healthy body weight. So when most women are not eating enough protein, guess what? It's no surprise that they are overweight, they're not losing it fast enough, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And feel free to throw any questions in the chat for sure. So the current recommendation, right, from the RDA is for protein is set for 0.36 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So if you want to do the math, great. Or if you're just like, hey, Carissa, give me my macros, I'm happy to do that. So yes, you know what I mean? Like they're easy to calculate. I can do that at no problem. So a high protein intake offers so many health benefits that can really increase weight loss, enhance muscle growth, and improve overall health. We need protein. I don't care what diet you're on. I guarantee it probably has protein, probably not enough. So let me just give you some tips on how to eat all that protein, right? Because that's the next question that my clients typically ask is they're like, okay, Carissa, thank you so much, right? Like I have my proteins, carbs, and fats, and then they maybe track for a day or two, and then they're like, holy shit, I need more protein in my life. And I'm like, yes, you do, my friend. So especially if we're, you know, women want this like sexy, lean, strong, sexy body, right? And in order to maintain the gains that I have, the shoulders, the muscle that I've built, I have to have enough protein in my life. So when I'm not recovering from a workout quick enough, when I'm starting to actually lose muscle mass, I always go to my diet. It's not the gym, right? More than likely it's, oh, Carissa, are you getting enough food? Are you getting enough sleep so that your muscles can recover? Okay, so all kinds of things. But anyways, tip number 1, biggest tip ever, is when you're going to sit down for your meal, eat your protein first. If you're one of those that always gets full and you're like, oh, but I still have like a half a chicken breast left, and I'm like, right? Like that happens to me quite often. I'm like, dang it, right? So my tip number 1 here would be to eat your protein first. When eating a meal, eat your protein source first, especially before you get to the starches, All right. So eat the protein. If it's all like separated, eat the protein and then move to the veggies. And if you don't have greens or oranges and reds and colorful stuff on your plate, that's definitely another tip. But we're talking about protein today. And then move to your starches. Okay. Tip number 2. If you can have cheese, and if you love cheese, go ahead and drop something in the chat right now. Let me know if you are a cheese person. Lots of women are. They say, oh, Carissa, but I love cheese and wine and crackers. I'm like, who doesn't, right? And cheese is actually a great way to get some of that added protein in. It makes for a really great snack. Now, personally, because I have Hashimoto's and I have a high intolerance to dairy, I don't eat cheese anymore, which eliminates cottage cheese. You know, they are, grocery stores are coming around, right? There are, like, now I can find yogurt again that I used to love that snack, but now they have dairy-free yogurt. I am not a fan of dairy-free cheese, so I would just nix that all together. It's way too expensive for how gross it tastes, okay? So, but if you can have cheese and you can have dairy and it doesn't screw up your digestion or your health, right? Cheese is a great way to get a little extra protein into your diet, so you can kind of snack on cheese, right? There are lots of healthier cheeses out there. Number 3 is include high protein food with every meal. Okay, no more, like breakfast should not consist of a muffin and a coffee. Okay, yeah, the muffin gives us energy because that's what carbs do. They give us energy, but we crash. Okay, we need protein in every single meal. If you're gonna like think, oh, I'm not even really that hungry right now, just eat some protein. Okay, so when it comes to protein, it's not just the total amount that you take in that matters. Okay, so if you're trying to hit 100 grams of protein a day, which is probably not enough, ladies, if you're just trying to hit that, divide that out between maybe 5 or 6 meals so that you're not just eating like a whole freaking chicken for dinner, okay? So getting enough at each meal is so important though, right? Lots of researchers recommend consuming a minimum of 20 to 30 grams at every meal. And some of you are probably skipping lunch altogether or skipping breakfast. Yeah, Dina, I know, girl. Like, I love cheese too. And trust me, I pick and choose my battles. So if I'm going out with the girls and there's a gorgeous charcuterie board, oh, I'm definitely going to have some hard cheeses for sure. But the old fat girl Carissa is like, she would have went for the whole plate. And now I just like pick and choose some of my favorite cheeses. And then I'm going to have it, of course. All right. So yeah, studies show that we do need lots of protein, mainly because protein promotes fullness. Okay, it also preserves muscle mass. Okay, so that's just another reason to add protein to every single meal. And if you're like, how is this even possible? Like, I'm already adding 6 to 8 ounce chicken breasts onto my salad. Here's some fun facts. You can add things like edamame and quinoa to your salads, okay? I love quinoa, first off, because I'm also gluten-free. So I love the quinoa because I can spice it up any which way. I can go Mediterranean, I can go like Latino, I can go like Italian. My favorite's Mediterranean, and I pretty much do it all the time. But quinoa, fun fact about quinoa, 1 cup of quinoa is about 8 grams of protein. So let's say you have 6 ounces of chicken breast on your salad, and then you add a whole cup of quinoa. Hello, now we're talking great fiber, lots of protein, lots of colors and veggies, etc. Okay, so every meal should include protein, right? Think yogurts, think cottage cheese, think edamame, things like that. All right, tip number 4 would be to choose leaner, slightly larger cuts of meat. So what I mean by this is so many women will be like, yeah, well, I had like a pork chop. And I'm like, okay, well, pork chops are kind of they're not the leanest cut of meat when it comes to pork. Like, choose maybe, like a more quality, right? Quality over quantity. So let me give you an example. I'm from Nebraska. I love my steak. I grew up on steak. I grew up on red meat. I still eat red meat. To this day, I love a good solid steak. Anyone love a solid steak? Any steak eaters in the house? If so, how do you like your steak? I am a medium rare type of girl. All right, but example, okay? A T-bone, which I don't ever eat, has 21 grams of protein, and 250 calories. Okay, not bad, 21 grams. Okay, that's pretty good. A sirloin is 26 grams of protein and only 150 calories. So you see, right, I get more grams of protein with less calories. So those are good types of meat swaps. Okay, that actually sounds really weird, meat swaps. Ashley, good morning, gorgeous. How are you today? Check in. Whoop, whoop. All right. Yes. All right. So I think that is all my tips for today with getting enough protein, why you need it. Let me know what your challenges are, right? Like say you're like, oh, Carissa, you know, like I'm just struggling with this when it comes to protein. I need ideas, you know, all kinds of stuff. I'm here to help support you and really hold you accountable to you living your best life. I freaking love that. That's my mission, right? So really quickly before I let you go, I just want to remind you that we have a fun event next week. Next week, and I put all this, the rest of these details for today's talk into the chat. But next week, I'm hosting a free 5-day work-life balance class held right here in this community every single day. I'll be going live at 2:30 Mountain Standard Time. Okay. So if you're like, my life is like chaos and I'm always on this hamster wheel and I can't ever get caught up. If that's you, this is the class, and feel free to invite all your girlfriends to join the group just to attend this free class. This is a class that literally corporations will pay me big bucks to teach their powerhouse females and executives, because quite often when our work and our life and our health, it's so hard to feel balanced in all of that. And so I then come in and I'm going to give you 5 strategies, right? I'm going to give you the way of success when it comes to living a more balanced, healthy life. It's 5 powerful days. About a month ago, I asked you ladies if you preferred 1 hour-long masterclass or like several little master classes, and you all kind of said I could go either way, but I really like the 15 minutes every day type class. So I'm listening to you, I hear you, I see you, and now I'm delivering it to you. So in 5 days, you're going to learn 5 easy to follow strategies that are guaranteed to help you create a healthy, happier, more balanced life. Okay? You will learn the secret sauce to going from surviving to thriving. Okay? You're also going to walk away with a personalized action plan that will help you thrive instead of survive the next 90 days, which will boost your momentum and allow you to become unstoppable in 2022. So workbooks, there is a workbook. Ladies, I've put together a whole workbook for this class. It will be posted in the Facebook group on Sunday. So I'm going to go live, talk about this, tell you about what you can expect every day, etc. I have gifts to give away, for women who do show up. So let's see, there's going to be a workbook. So make sure you check in on Sunday and download it, print it, get ready to take notes, and then show up presently and intentionally Monday through Friday next week. It'll be the best Valentine's Day gift you just bought yourself. Full freezies, and all it costed you was 15 to 20 minutes every single day for 5 days. All right, I'm going to stay on and answer Martha's question here, and feel free to put your questions in the chat. I've got maybe 3 or 4 minutes before I have to run. So yeah, let me get right into it. But if you gotta go, I love you. Bye-bye. But I do want to take some time to just answer some questions, any questions that kind of come in around protein and macros and etc. So, Martha, is it Martha? Martha. Okay. I struggle with buying foods here. Language and the foods are so different. Sometimes not sure what's the best to eat. This is so refreshing. Oh, thank you. It's a complete readjustment eating in a different country. It absolutely is. I mean, I remember when I was stationed in Germany, and for 3 years, I mean, I had a hard time. We didn't have beef, so I was kind of sad about that because the cows where I lived was not that great looking. And everything in Europe was a lot of pork, a lot of brats and breads and and wines, and the beer is so amazing, but it's like 10 times worse for you Europe beer than American beer, because American beer is gross. But yeah, so you struggle, right, with eating healthier foods, or maybe coming up with different ways. I want to just remind you to keep things simple. Okay, women love to overcomplicate everything. So stop going to the media. Stop asking your friends. Stop looking for the perfect whatever for you. And I just want you to ask yourself, what do I like to eat? Okay, what do I like to eat that I think is healthy? Because remember, everything, every health, we need to redefine it for what that looks like for us. Again, Dina can't have, dairy. She's not doing gluten. I don't do dairy, eggs, gluten, soy, right? And wheat. And I'm trying to lean myself off of lactines, like foods high in lactine, because of my thyroid issue. So, like you just have to ask yourself, what do I know to be true about healthy eating, right? And I just want you to ask yourself that. So a lot of women on keto are like, well, yeah, like people lose weight really easily on it. I'm like, of course they do. They're totally eliminating the carbs out of their life. But then if you ask a lot of people who have eliminated a lot of carbs out of their life, I say, great, how's your energy? And they're like, well, by 3 o'clock, I'm just like dead. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? You have 0 carbs. Carbs give you energy. And when you think about long term, like high fats and lots of protein, that only one of that is correct, right? I'm afraid to see in 20 or 30 years all these keto dieters out there. And I'm not saying keto is bad. If it works for you, great. I love food. I love eating carbs, proteins, and fats, okay? So that's my preference. But I want you, let me just go back to that question. Write down the foods that you love to eat. And then just, I always add lots of veggies to your plate. Add lots of color to your plate. I always tell my clients, eat your rainbow, okay? And you know what healthy is. You know what healthy looks like. I bet if I gave you a grilled chicken, right, with a beautiful salad and a sweet potato and roasted cauliflower in one plate, and if I said, oh, but here's a Big Mac, French fries, and a Coke, you know what's healthier, right? You're gonna at least be able to say, this would be the healthier option. Now, when it comes to discipline, that's a different story, different training altogether. All right, keep going, Martha. Just remember, you got this. You're not alone. Any other questions come in? So glad I checked in on the teeter-totter, survive and thrive after a car wreck. Yes, but at the end of the day, Ashley, you're in control of your life. You're in control of the food that you eat. You're in control of how you move your body. I literally sprained my ankle last week, couldn't really walk on it. So what was I doing? I was sitting in the gym, doing upper body stuff. So no excuses, right? We can change our lives. We just have to be willing to decide to stop playing the victim of our circumstances, right? And I'm not just pinpointing that to you because lots of women are like, yeah, but I don't have no money, or yeah, but I don't have any equipment. I'm like, you don't need it. You got a body, girlfriend. Like, you can work out at home. Who cares if COVID, still has your gym closed down? Who cares? You can go outside. You can go in your living room, right? So you get to choose. And that's really empowering when you take an empowered step towards you living your best life. All right. I think that's all we have today. I'm going to hop off. I hope to see you guys on next week, right? Doing that challenge. So mark your calendars right now, 2:30 Mountain Time. So if you're in Central, that's 3:30. If you're Pacific Standard Time, that's 1:30. If you're Eastern, you do the math because you're 2 hours difference from me. And if you're in a different country, make sure you do the math, save the date. And I promise this training will be 15 to 20 minutes only. So you will be done and you're going to get a full workbook with it. All right, ladies, have a beautiful day. And remember, stay healthy, choose help. Bye.